but you do need to make sure you keep recovering it, and that Iron Hand is going to be something you're looking out for. Prizes,
Roxanne's
3 energy.
Yeah, 3 energy does hurt the ratios of the Miraidon with Electric Generator. Roxanne's the only hand disruptor that Christian has in their deck list, but should be able to cherry pick it from the prizes pretty early.
Yeah.
As we have liftoff here in the Masters final here, and we have a Mew EX lead for Simon, who's going to be kicking off game 1.
He is indeed. Mew's got free retreat. Mew's got a nice little ability to draw cards. It's not a bad one to start with. But we do see the Raikou going down straight away. You could always retreat into that and use fleet-footed if you so wished. What we're really looking for turn 1 is a Miraidon.
The only draw power is this fleet-footed, so it is going to be an early retreat. 1 card for Simon here. Can we get towards any ball search? Or is it just going to be an attach past turn 1?
Oh, what do we see?
Nest Ball, that's exactly what we wanted to see. That unlocks the Miraidon EX.
That's perfect.
Begin tandem uniting here.
Yeah, love that. Miraidon gets yourself 2 basic lightning, but as we mentioned before, one of those can be a Miraidon, and then that Miraidon can use its own tandem unit, and that would actually fill up the bench.
That's really gonna, yeah, that changes the fortunes of this hand quite nicely, because you have Judge Path after this, so you can use Miraidon's setup, get a turn attachment in, even onto the Raikou V that's in the active position right now. You're setting yourself up for a really easy attack next turn whilst throwing hand disruption at Christian. That's exactly what you need in this matchup.
Yeah, I absolutely love that. That is exactly what we're looking for. So that Judge's going to come down next turn with the attack, which is going to be lovely. And that's going to be, yeah.
This is the alternative option. You'd be going for Squawkabilly EX instead here.
Ooh.
You would just dump the hand, you'd lose a Path of the Peak, you'd lose a Judge. These are cards I actually really like in the matchup, but it does mean you can see a fresh 6 cards here.
You do.
This is already an interesting choice.
And you do run the risk, if you don't hit a Miraidon from the Squawkabilly, then you do get put back. I mean, I know the odds are in your favor. You play many outs to it, you play free copies of it, but there is always that possibility that you do whiff the Miraidon, and then you end up with a Raikou, a Squawkabilly who served its purpose and does nothing for you, and a Mew.
The big issue here is that Squawkabilly and Mew EX both have such low hit points that Christian may find avenues to weave in Sableye attacks over a number of turns to also find easy knockouts. As we're going to see a quick switch from Simon back into the free retreating Mew EX. And it is going to be most likely just an attachment to Raikou, and then the Squawk and Seize for 6 here. Getting rid of a Zapdos as well. Sometimes you weave in a single prize attacking Pokemon, but usually you want to just get 1 Mareep developed on the board, and that's the only single prize that you'll show your opponent.
Yeah, and be given that choice of they can take out the Mareep, but then they're going to have to still take out 3 X's as well. Good news is, naturally drew into a Miraidon, so...
That's worked out really well.
Yeah, that's worked out lovely, and you only have 2 bench spots left, but that's good, because Miraidon can get you whichever 2 Pokemon you want to fill them.
We've also got a couple Ultra Ball in the hand, so we could go down even to 0 cards and draw 3 more from restart, so that could be pretty handy.
Yeah, I'd like that.
Speaking of handy, is there going to be an Iron Hands EX coming onto the board early on here? We know it's such a crucial card at threatening the Lost Zone players. Yep, straight away we're going to have the Iron Hands EX on the board, and let's start working towards an amp you very much. There's already an Electric Generator in the hand here.
I like getting the Iron Hands down early because it can be a bit of a pain to get those 4 energy on, getting it down, using that Electric Generator. It's much easier to power it up over this turn and next when you can actually attack with it than just trying to do it all next turn. So, yeah, big fan of getting this one out. And then, of course, hopefully you've got your Flaffy next turn. But now comes the Electric Generator. Double hit!
Here we are, game 1 of the finals. First Electric Generator, full value, 2 lightning energy immediately attached. That's 3 for the turn here. And wow, just how much more threatening is this board state looking now?
I mean, it's kind of annoying when I say, well, there's 3 energy prize, that could hurt. And he's like, no, I'll still get 2 off an Electric Generator.
No problem. Works up. Grab Flaffy here just to have in the hand for next turn. You could get 1 card from restart. Looking really well set up now, Simon. Really good lead here.
And an energy in the discard we've got ready for the Flaffy as well to accelerate next turn. So Iron Hands next turn is not going to be a problem. You're going to have Dynamotor, you're going to have the energy from hand. That's literally all you need.
Yeah, I was questioning the choice for Squawkabilly, but look how it's paid off. Look at this board state. That is so much better than what I was planning.
And hopefully you can still hit a Judge and a Path next turn anyway.
And there's already a piece of Path as well that you can hold on to. You probably just want to keep it in hand and pass things over. I like to see this. Let's see how Christian's opener is looking, because they're staring down a pretty intimidating board state.
Yeah, this is not what you want to see. You know that Iron Hand is coming out next turn. You know your opponent literally just needs an energy from hand in order to actually pull it off. So it's not going to be difficult to do that.
Christian already identifying that Radiant Charizard is in the deck. Fantastic. And we do have Battle VIP Pass to lead the turn here. Shouldn't be too difficult with a Comfey lead to get towards 4 cards in the Lost Zone to unlock your Spit Innocently from Cramorant. And that could be really handy with the low hit points of Mew EX. It could be a way that you could set up this Pokemon for a 2-prize knockout over a couple of attacks, especially with Sableye weaving itself in at some point during the game. So it is certainly relevant if we can launch an attack turn 1 for Christian here, as they're going to do their due diligence with their deck search. Some key cards to keep an eye out for: the one-off copy of Mirage Gate, the double turbo energy in the deck, Raihan. These are the ways that you can get your Charizard into the mix as early as possible to insta-respond an Iron Hands EX.
Yeah, that is going to be absolutely crucial. The double turbo brings Charizard's attack down to 230, which is the magic number for getting Iron Hands. So that can actually get it pretty gosh darn nicely. So
look at this early Charizard coming down. Even just getting a manual attachment this turn could be huge.
Well, it's very similar to what we saw in the Iron Hands on the other side of the board. And yeah, get the Cramorant hopefully this turn, get 110 down. And you know, then there's a 2-prizer on the bench that you can use to KO with Sableye at any point in the future. If you need 2 prizes, whack an energy on Sableye, off you go. Or a Cramorant, or whatever you might need. What's the decision here?
Getting rid of energy with the first flower selecting. I'm not sure if there is access
to... Or was a fire energy.
A fire energy in the hand now, so that's at least something to attach. There could be an attached retreat to unlock Raihan for you as well. It's always nice to bank a fire energy in the discard pile. That's exactly what we're seeing with this first retreat here. So you can Raihan. There are 2 copies in the deck list of Raihan. It's a great card to have. I think the Raihan's in hand, actually. Battle VIP Pass going to go in favor of a Psychic Energy.
Yeah, we did just
poker gear now.
Yeah, absolutely. But we did just Lost Zone a Psychic Energy from the last flower selecting.
Also true. Yep.
So you can't really Lost Zone 2 in a row and you're only playing 3. It doesn't really work. But gets a Colress off the poker gear. And like you said, Joe, probably not going to be hard to get 4 cards in the Lost Zone.
We've made it, and Colress should help us get there. At this stage, we're just looking towards getting Cramorant into the active to get a bit of tempo going. And we have seen the banked fire energy. I really like this choice from Christian. It's not easy to find these fire energy just naturally as you draw through the deck, so getting a fire banked really early is exceptional.
Yeah, it's always nice to have it in there. So here comes the 5 cards for the Colress's experiment.
Not getting easy Lost Zones here. The Devo as well as a Fog Crystal can find their way into the Lost Zone. I think the Hisuian Heavy was taken as well, and that can be a means to cram.
Absolutely could. We've got a Nest Ball here as well. So that could...
That's also going to get Cramorant.
Yep,
so
there are 2 copies in the list.
Yeah, that's because we have no mid-range. We have the 4 breakpoint and the 10 breakpoint. Nothing in between. We have 1 Mirage Gate, but normally it's just Charizard using right-hand things.
Yeah.
As we see the switch carts for Cramorant here. Still some actions to be done for Christian, perhaps. They could just attach the Devo tool, but they don't go for it. They're going to keep that option available for Lost Vacuum shenanigans and get this tempo poke onto Mew EX. I really like this choice because it does enable Sableye later. There's a Bravery Charm pickup.
Oh, that's nice.
Here. This Iron Hands is going to be so threatening. 280 hit points with the hit point buff of Bravery Charm. There's already a Flaffy. They can get us to 3 energy cards.
And we talk about the fact that Christian is generally trading kind of his Charizard for 2 prizes. Well, if you can get 2 attacks off with the Iron Hands here, that is going to get you pretty much over the line. So if it can take 2 prizes off the Cramorant and then go and tank a hit and take another 2 prizes off of something else straight afterwards, that is going to be a huge deal.
We only have 1 card draw for restart unless we switch card first into Raikou, and then we could restart for 2 and then have fleet-footed after the fact.
Yeah.
That's what we're going to go for here, because we're all in on Iron Hands, let's face it.
Yeah, you've got 3 cards, and all you need is a basic energy. So I think we're going to be... Oh,
there's Judge. Now we have Judge Path as a combo. You could fleet-footed first and see if you hit a Lightning Energy. Judge Path has decent odds of finding a Lightning to attach for the turn. You obviously have 1 Lightning Energy in the discard pile already for Flaffy. And there's the Lightning
hits
Energy.
It off the fleet-footed.
This is a monstrous turn. We can turn attached to our Iron Hands, load it up with Dynamotor, and then do the combo of Judge and Path. This is huge here for Simon.
And I said if the Iron Hands can get 2 attacks in a row, that's going to be huge. Well, this makes it a lot more likely. Path Judge combo, it's one we're very familiar with, and this is about Christian's worst nightmare in this matchup. I'm not perfectly set up here, and my opponent's taking 2 prizes with a Pokemon I probably can't KO, and they're Judge Pathing me.
The Doomsdayers were right. Iron Hands EX looking really dangerous right now. So many pieces required for Christian to overcome this Iron Hands EX. It is bearing down and taking multiple prizes every turn when it's not immediately dealt with.
Yeah, I mean, free attacks, it wins the game.
Yep. It really does speed up the prize race here. But interestingly, Simon is basically all in on this one attacker. So they basically said, I really, really hope you can't deal with this EX because I've got all my eggs in this basket.
And I mean, it is possible for Christian to respond here. You can get a Lost Vacuum to get rid of the Bravery Charm, and then you just need to get your Charizard, which will need free energy at that point.
And the Path of the Peak's got to go as well, let's not forget.
Yeah, which...
That's a lot of, you know, tool and stadium removal.
Yeah, I mean, double Lost Vacuum maybe, Joe?
Yeah, there are a couple stadiums in the deck list as well.
There are indeed.
So we do have outs, we just need so many of them, and we need them on the spot. That's the real kicker here.
Yeah, off the Judge to 4. We need to get rid of the Path, we need to get rid of the Bravery Charm, and then we need the attacker.
Speaking of which, that's a good 4 cards for Simon as they continue their turn here. They can Generator again. There's at least one double
hit
lightning.
Again!
Wow, this is huge, because now even if the Iron Hands is dealt with, that could be another easy response here. If these energies find their way onto Raikou V.
I mean, you know, we spoke to Simon a minute ago, and Simon said, I'm just here to have fun playing Pokemon. This looks like having fun playing Pokemon.
I was having fun right now. There's no doubt about that. There's a lot of fun to be had when your starts are like this. Incredible scenes.
He's got so much energy. He's actually like, now where do I put all this energy?
I think also just totting up how the bench damage works with your own Lightning Rondo, just making sure that you can get through a Charizard if required. And it is going to be a 2-prize amp you very much knockout here. And it's come alongside a lot of hand disruption. This is the nightmare scenario for Christian Fontenot. How can they find their way out of it?
And they need to respond right now. If they don't respond right now, you can expect there's probably going to be a 2-prize KO coming next turn as well. It was a Fog Crystal top deck, which is not really what you want to see here.
Saw Lost Vacuum. What else do we see? This Charizard's... Oh, wow, we have Raihan. Is this a... There's no shot we're getting there.
I mean, you can search any card with Raihan here. You will still need the double turbo, and you need to get rid of the Path to the Peak, and you need to get rid of the Bravery Charm. So Stadium, Lost Vacuum, double turbo are the 3 cards you're looking for here.
Worst case scenario, you can at least bounce the Path and hit the Iron Hands for 230, then look to find your other Lost Vacuum later. And I think that's already available. With the Raihan attachment, you could grab double turbo energy if you wish. And then you could try to... Oh, wow, eyeing up Mirage Gate. I don't think they'll be able to get to 7 here. Only 4 cards in the Lost Zone right now.
No.
I think there's only 1 Lost Vacuum available. So yeah, it's going to have to be the double turbo, and we'll get rid of Path of the Peak. And you just hope that the size of Radiant Charizard is too large, and that you're nullifying the Iron Hands EX.
And it is worth pointing out that that Bravery Charm gives extra hit points. So if you get rid of it next turn in the middle of the turn, the Iron Hands will just be immediately KO'd.
And that's going to be huge. And you're just hoping that the Radiant Charizard with 160 hit points cannot be amp you very much for another 2-prize knockout here. So Christian honestly did pretty well from that judge to even launch any attack here. Even though they're not immediately responding on the Iron Hands. This is almost the best case scenario, I would say.
Yeah, there isn't really... I mean, to be fair, we could see a 4-prize turn from Christian next turn. If he can get rid of the Bravery Charm and then you say Sableye to get rid of the Mew, would need 5 in the Lost Zone, so it's a bit of a long shot. But my point is, there's lots of prizes that are there for the taking for Christian without having to go for giant Charizard hits.
One thing that will be a little bit awkward is that Simon is holding on to Escape Rope. So you can just continue to amp you very much, ignore the Charizard, and just go even further ahead in this prize race.
And that is absolutely, I think, probably the way you want to play this. Go up, you know, take 4 prizes and almost make Charizard attack twice into the Iron Hands.
Yeah.
And that's going to be absolutely... Well, that's not going to be fun, frankly.
Could be boss's orders as well if you'd prefer. You could always just go into your Raikou V, get a quick fleet-footed card in and retreat back out after an Escape Rope.
That's always a nice plan.
Yeah, I feel like just doing the Escape Rope feels best here. Hold boss's orders for later. Going to get an attachment onto Miraidon EX here. Just keep loading up other attackers across your board.
And there's a Dynamotor coming down as well, probably onto the Miraidon. I mean, he's certainly eyeing it up, hasn't used it yet, but now we've got, yeah, it is onto the Miraidon. So you've got the Iron Hands ready to attack, you've got the Raikou ready to attack, you've got the Miraidon with Bravery Charm, 1 basic energy away from attacking now. I mean, there's a lot of attackers in Simon's hand, and Christian needs to be trading 1 for 2 faster to keep up with this.
The option is Escape Rope or Boss's Orders. It's a tough one. I feel like Escape Rope's the best thing to hold here, just so you can guarantee it. Yeah, I do like this rope most, but we are debating it.
No, I kind of like this. Me's boss's orders open for next turn for whatever you might want, so...
We're just jumping in and out with the Mew EX with that free retreat, so Iron Hands is going to be using that Ampy very much once again. Simon going to put themselves possibly one attack away from the game here, especially because they do play 2 copies of Iron Hands, so there's the option to tandem unit another one out. There's already double turbo and generator from the prize cards.
Oh, wow.
So even if this Iron Hands is dealt with this turn, which Christian kind of has to do, there could easily be another Iron Hands bursting onto the scene. Is that a top deck of a chorus? Oh, it's from the flower selecting.
From flower selecting, but it's still a similar kind of deal. What have we got here? You have to KO the Iron Hands.
Do we have Escape Rope? Do we have Lost Vacuum here? These are some big cards.
Lost Vacuum is the absolute crucial one here. You need to draw into that because you don't want to have to... You have to get rid of Iron Hands this turn or you lose next turn. But also, you kind of don't want to attack into it because then you're 2-hit KOing for 2 prizes. It's not how Christian Fontenot's deck actually tends to work. So, yeah, you need to try and work towards that. You didn't get it off the Chorus's experiment here.
I think the window of opportunity is already shutting on Christian.
He's used Comfey and he's used...
Yeah, that's everything. That means all we have to do is swing into this Iron Hands. Oh. And Simon doesn't need to get an Iron Hands this turn. They can just attack 2 times to take their final 2 prize cards. But there is still the opportunity to immediately win this game with 1 hit from Electric Generator. If you tandem unit out your other Iron Hands EX, you can hit 1 Lightning Energy from Generator, you can use a Flaffy for 1, and you have double Turbo Energy, and there's already boss's orders in the hand.
Yeah, I think you've got to try it.
Yeah, we could be closing this game out very quickly in game 1 here.
Because you get the Iron Hands out, you play the Electric Generator, if you hit, boom, I win the game. If you don't, okay, fine, plan B.
Yeah. And plan B ain't bad either.
No, it's really not. Because you're going to KO with your Bravery Charm Miraidon with 270 HP and force Christian to have a response Charizard, which is annoying in and of itself, on the Bravery Charm. This is it. A single energy will finish out the game. We saw 2 double hits earlier. We can't feel too sorry for that one.
The crowd are oohing as if that was a big miss, but we're still in such a great position for this game.
Now the game is 1 turn longer.
And still plenty of time. Still plenty of time for Simon to close this one out. I like still taking out the Charizard here most with your Miraidon EX.
Absolutely.
Because even though you're giving your opponent some draw with Comfey, like the Charizard's the thing they want to rebuild anyway. That's their best attacker no matter what.
They're going to be rebuilding the Charizard, and it's not enough just to take out the Miraidon. So again, there's a Bravery Charm they're going to have to deal with, as well as just recovering the Charizard. Remember, it's a Radiant Pokemon. You're only allowed to play 1 Radiant Pokemon in your deck. So if it's your main attacker, you have to keep getting it back again and again. There's the energy on Miraidon. Mew's already got free retreat, so the KO is on the board and ready to go.
It's going to be a turn attachment, possibly to the Iron Hands EX. I actually like holding the double turbo energy just in case there's a random counter catcher on Flaffy or something like that, a panic play that Christian can go for. I do like a manual attachment onto the Iron Hands though.
Oh yeah.
Even though you're able to take just 1 prize to close the game once you've used this Miraidon EX, it's just another attacking option and has the highest retreat cost anyway.
Yep. It's got the highest HP. There's just, you know, basically give your opponent no options. Just make sure you've got so many attackers.
This is also fine. I do like this option too.
Yeah.
You're just making sure that nothing's going to get randomly trapped. I mean, Iron Hands has the highest retreat cost, but still. You have Switch Cart as extra outs to move it. Yeah,
which doesn't work on the Flaffy with it being an evolution Pokemon. So here comes the Miraidon into the active. It is going to do more than enough damage to KO this Radiant Charizard. And that is going to put Christian Fontenot on a single turn clock. Simon is 1 prize away from winning game 1. And Christian, I mean, it's asking a lot. You have to deal with this Miraidon. And even then, you've got the Raikou staring you down. It's a lot to ask to keep Christian into this game. This might be one of these games where you look through the discard pile, you get yourself some information for, you know, get as good a look at the deck list as you can, and then start working towards game 2.
Well, there are some shenanigans. We have Counter Catcher, we have Roxanne. We can bring up the Iron Hands. That's got a monstrous retreat cost.
Yep.
You can start working towards Sableye. And actually, you know, you need a few bits of luck go your way, but if you can do this disruption, maybe Sableye can just sort of start wiping out the Mew EX. That's also the draw engine, and you could win over a couple of turns. Chris is not quite out of this just yet. The Roxanne was taken from prize cards, let's not forget.
So there's a Super Rod. That's going to get the Charizard back and the Fire Energy as well as a Comfey. And yeah, I mean, Sableye's another one of those Pokemon that people are not terribly happy about all the time. Drops a bunch of damage counters wherever you like. And, you know, like you say, traps something in the active. Sableye comes up, uses Lost Mine, drops 10 damage counters. We will need 1 more card in the Lost Zone to do it.
Yeah, I think we do have Lost... No, we just have Roxanne, so we're still looking for pieces here. But Christian really trying to just buy time at this this stage. If they can use Sableye this turn, knock out the Mew EX, that takes off a lot of the draw power. And then you do have the route to use Charizard that's just been recycled back into the deck to win in 2 turns.
Oh, yes.
So this Roxanne is huge here. It's a panic play, your back's against the wall, but there are lines to win in 2 turns. All it would take was a miss of a switching card on this Iron Hands that has such a chunky retreat cost. And actually, Simon, in trying to win the game with an electric generator, you can understand why, has now found themselves in a tough position.
Yeah, there's usually downsides to these plays, and like you say, we could have had a double turbo on the Iron Hands last turn. That would have opened up a lightning to retreat, or a lightning on there to open up a double turbo to retreat, but it could have made that option there, so Raikou comes up and takes that last prize. So
Let's
not
see
an
the
option.
big 6 cards from the Roxanne. Can we get a way to remove this Technical Machine devolution to get to 10 cards? That's the first question. I believe there's Mirage Gate for this Sableye to start lost mining.
There is a Sableye. We need one more card in the lost zone before it's on
there's
board.
nothing else. So I think you're just going to have to, well, you can Artisan and get another Comfey. You can retreat into that. But I don't think we're going to be able to lost mine here. I didn't see Energy. I didn't see Switch card already in hand. You need that combination to get this Comfey in the active to Flower Select and then get back out of the active for a lost mine.
No, yeah, absolutely right. You need to use Comfey to get the card in the lost zone, but then you still need to have the Sableye in the active with a Psychic Energy attached in order to do it. That would be amazing. You take out the Mew.
That's what's so important. You're taking away a lot more draw power.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Take 2 prizes, take out the Mew, and then you give your opponent 1 turn, and then Charizard comes out and takes out the Iron Hands, and that's the game.
Yeah, it's an unlikely story, but it hasn't really come off for Christian. We are getting to 10. It's a Rope versus a Charizard. You have to keep the Charizard around.
Yeah, that's an absolute no-brainer, that one.
Just drew into all of their supporters, basically, from that Roxanne. Quite unfortunate. As we pass over to Simon, who has to try and close out this game.
Got double turbo, Iono, and a basic lightning energy.
They have a bit more time now, at least.
I mean, do you attach to the Iron Hand and then Iono and just, if you hit the switch, brilliant. If you don't, you just need 1 energy next turn?
Yeah. It also means that you're Ionoing to 1. You could possibly even play that card, which means you're maximizing your restart draw power from the Mew EX.
Yeah, that's always fun. There goes a double turbo. Of course, it's much more difficult to find a double turbo than a basic lightning. That's why you have to attach that one. And then you can restart here, or you can Iono and restart later. There's the Iono. You're going to get yourself 1 card, but it's really free because of the restart.
Yep, and happy to just allow Christian to put that to the bottom. Let's see the card. It's a Professor's Research.
Oh, that would have been great a minute ago.
Would have been great, yeah. 2 cards from the restart, though. Can we get over the line here?
We cannot.
Beach Court does not get us there. We have a 4 retreat cost on Iron Hands EX. That guy really is quite large.
Yeah, unfortunately, we need to. We got the Beach Court, we got the double turbo, so look, just 1 energy next turn will absolutely do it. And you've got the Professor's Research, so it's looking good for Simon next turn. So Christian needs to get a KO on the Mew with Sableye this turn, and preferably some more hand disruption.
Yeah, they only play 1 Roxanne, though.
Yeah, there's a
I believe they've already pal padded earlier in the game, so I don't think there's any more hand disruption possible.
No, it's
looks like Simon will slowly edge over the line here. But let's see if Christian can come up with any other shenanigans.
Sableye?
A Spiritomb early,
as I say,
just to deny fleet-footed, I guess. When you're getting down to these scrappy moments, every card matters.
Yeah, and at least your deck is a little bit thinner now, so maybe you can draw what you want off of things like your flower selecting. It certainly is starting to look quite awkward. There is your flower selecting. We got Nest Ball in the lost zone. It was a switch card that we got off, so you can switch into another Comfey to flower selecting again if you need to.
Yeah,
I mean, if you don't Sableye this turn, there really is.
We've got the Clara, so we can get the Psych Energy back and start lost mining this Mew EX at least. Christian has to go through these motions. They're pretty close, honestly. And we know that Simon's holding on to Beach Court, but then would still have to research towards an energy attachment to move.
Yeah, or a switching card, which would negate all the other efforts.
But Christian's done a really good job of keeping in this game. And Iron Hands really went haywire. It took way too many prizes on its own. So for Christian to find this small window of opportunity is already fantastic.
And in this matchup, like, that's your MO if you're Christian. You're like, don't let Iron Hands go silly on me, right? Don't let Iron Hands just have its way. And that did happen early in the game, but you're right. We've got Sableye here. KO the Mew, take away that restart, and take yourself a couple of prizes. Basically say next turn, Charizard wins the game. Simon has so many outs, though. We're going to see a draw to 7 And of course, we got our draw for the turn. All we need is a basic energy in order to actually finish this off. So
I like the 2 damage counters most on Miraidon EX, by the way. That's a very small passing comment. We move over to Simon, who has the draw for turn, doesn't quite have the game. They can tandem unit out an extra Pokemon to improve their odds of a Professor's Research here. Like we said, a switching card or just an energy at this stage, as long as you play the Beach Court, will be enough to move your Iron Hands out the way. The tandem unit first. There are still a decent number of energy, just a couple actually.
2 energy in the deck, plus however many switching options are left.
There aren't that many. There is still Forest Seal Stone available though, and there's a couple of those rattling around.
I don't think there's any switching in that. I think we've literally just got the 2 energy in the Forest Seal Stone.
So this is still a risky Professor's Research then. There's no guarantee we're going to hit this from 7 cards. It's a lot of cards.
This is a lot less likely.
Yeah, eyeballing it, there's still 20 or so cards in the deck, I would say.
This is going to be a lot less likely than we thought it was. So you play the Beach Court, you play the Professor's Research, and then you cross your fingers.
Yeah, it has to be energy or Forest Seal Stone.
For an
Close out game 1 here.
So there is a Professor's Research. What have we got here? We got 3, we got 6, we got 7. Do we have the game?
No,
We
it's
don't.
a miss!
Oh my goodness, 7 cards, missed it all. And that actually opens up the door for Christian here from, and you know, I know we say a lot of unlikely comebacks where the player is, you know, really biding their time. This was an actual comeback.
What a phenomenal comeback. And Christian, I'm going to spoil it, they're holding Charizard Fire Energy. So I can't believe it. The research has missed, and Simon, from such an incredible position, has found the way to lose, which was trying to go early with your Iron Hand, your second copy of Iron Hands EX. You tried to win the game very proactively, and you found the loss condition, which was a huge, hefty retreat cost of your second Iron Hands.
And we had the double turbo. Any other Pokemon in the active could have been retreated with that double turbo. Even the Flaffy, if it had no energy on. And after all of that, and you know, what we're going to see from Simon here is just improving odds for next turn, using, using
this and looking through and just seeing what outs they had. Yeah, unfortunate. There's no doubt about that, but Christian found the line. You have to give them great credit for this.
Oh, amazing,
Don't get to a final without plays like this. You make the Hail Marys, and every now and then it gets there.
Yeah, getting the Sableye to KO the Mew. And we did say that Cramorant ping turn 1 could be quite relevant.
It always matters, Ross.
It was incredibly relevant. Set up the Sableye. It wasn't exactly how we pictured it happening, but it worked out pretty nicely in the end.
Well, it's going to work out great because Christian's going to go 1 game up, even though Simon had everything they needed. It's going to be the pass from Simon, and you can see they're looking up at the sky. They cannot believe that they've not found victory here. I'm almost certain that, Charizard's not currently in hand. We have to thin for it.
So there's the
I thought Charizard was already
Gate.
here. The Artisan, well, wouldn't get the Charizard anyway because it's a rule box Pokemon.
Unfortunately so. So yeah, Charizard is
digging.
still
Well,
in the
I
deck.
thought it was game over.
Not yet, unfortunately. Charizard not in the hand as it stands at the moment. It might have been before the Iono.
That's true.
Which was played, so maybe it was the Iono that put it back into the deck. Either way, we are still playing here. We have shuffled the deck, which helps a lot here, because it means Charizard's not necessarily on the bottom. There is a Colress's Experiment. It does get the Charizard!
Christian is going to close out this first game from what an unlikely position. Fantastic scenes. It's going to be a huge combustion blast to really have an impressive victory in game 1 here.
Oh, and that is what Simon's showing. Like, I had 2 Forest Seal Stone, I had 2 Basic Lightning, but unfortunately neither of them were hit from the Professor's Research. And Christian Fontenot, I mean, goodness me. I was saying, well, you know, he's gathering information for game 2, and Christian's like, well, hang on a second.
The Roxanne from the prize cards opened the door. The counter catcher, a huge card from Paradox Rift, gave us the avenue. And the Iron Hands 4 retreat cost certainly was an issue there.
Didn't we see in the top 4 Christian playing Roxanne to great effect?
Yes, exactly.
He only plays 1.
Oh, yeah, but sometimes you just have it.
I mean, Roxanne absolutely putting in a shift for Christian Fontenot here. This is quite ridiculous stuff, and I mean, that is one of the best comebacks I've seen on stream in a long time.
Yeah, it really looked like Simon was in pole position. There's no question about that. They had to just launch 2 attacks, maybe getting excited with the Iron Hands EX coming down, trying to win all in 1 turn. I really understand it. You're in the Masters Finals, everything's going well. You've had a really good game 1 up to that point. but it opened the door, and you always have to be aware of the comeback mechanics in the Pokemon TCG these days. Roxanne Countercatcher, a new combination that really gave Christian, 3 turns to get the job done. That's a huge comeback.
There's no way I would not have made that play going for the Iron Hand. I definitely
Let's just get it over with.
Oh, yeah. If I can go fast and aggressive, I will. But the thing is, I've just realized, while the players are in between games, I'm pretty set here, because either Miraidon wins, and I was right in my caster prediction, or Miraidon loses because of Countercatcher.
Your other prediction.
And I was right in my caster prediction.
You can't lose. I guess that means I need Christian to win because they've got a random Spiritomb in their deck list.
It's technically in the deck,
Joe.
Joe.
It counts, it counts.
But we need to focus more on the players. We're heading into game 2 now. It does look like we are getting set up here. And here come the prizes. Oh, Spiritomb not doing much this game, but Mew being prized.
Yeah, that's a little bit awkward, especially because there's no Zeraora in Simon's list. They only have Mew EX as their only free retreat Pokemon. As we're getting into game 2 here, we have a Mareep start for Simon. And, oh no.
Oh, that's...
Ross.
Is that... I can't see much
There's
in that
supporters,
hand.
there's energy, there's beach court. It's an attached pass here.
Oh, and we know Cramorant loves a nice attached pass from your opponent. This is what Cramorant does. Nice and simple. You get 4... Well, it's Comfey. The Chorus's experiment, like we've seen so many times. 4 cards in a lost zone. Cramorant comes active, and Christian becomes your Stuttgart regional champion.
Christian's already in the think tank. Do you take a Pokemon out of the deck with Artisan early? Yes is the choice. To have a look through the deck now. As you said, Ross, we need to see double Comfey, we need to see Cramorant and Colrus. I don't think there was many of those pieces in the hand, though, so even though it's quite likely, we still need to allow the flower selectings to get us over that line.
Yeah, we've seen turn 1 Cramorant for 110 over and over again. We literally saw it in the last game. So it's something that happens quite a lot. It is one of the reasons these lost zone decks flourish, because it is so good at that early game pressure. Most decks don't have 110 for 0 energy on turn 1.
Big flower selecting. Can we work towards Colrus? There goes a Comfey. There's a Colrus's experiment!
Oh, that's huge! So, we need a switching, we need 2 switches and a Cramorant.
I didn't see Battle VIP Pass, I didn't see Nest Ball. I don't think there's a Cramorant yet. I think there's switching outs though, so we can dig one more time with flower selecting, even getting rid of the Roxanne, the crucial card that won game 1 in order to try and get this early victory. There's a Fog Crystal that can fin for an attached retreat here as well.
Yeah, that is going to be nice. You get just 1 less card in the deck. It means you can retreat. So there we go. On the Psychic Energy, you retreat into the Comfey. You need a switch and a Cramorant, and that will be the game.
Yeah, any ball search card, including his Sui and Heavy Ball, will work here.
Oh, that's a nice...
Cramorant in the prizes.
Yes, that's an excellent point there, Joe. Hisui and Heavy Ball will work very nicely here.
It's a +1 out, I suppose.
I mean, this is actually a perfect situation to have a Cramorant prized and 1 in the deck.
Let's see the attached retreats. 1 more flower selecting. Can we win the game on the spot here?
It's a Hisui and Heavy Ball! He's hit it from the flower selecting, so we can play that. Pardon?
Does Christian know? Are they mapping it out? Are they just...
I think, does he know his...
The crowd may have helped.
Yeah, I mean, there was a little bit of a giveaway.
Here we go.
There's a Hisui and Heavy Ball. He's going to see the Cramorant in there. There's the Cramorant. Where's the switching car? There's the switching car. And Christian Fontenot is your Stuttgart regional champion. Apparently, Cramorant is also good.
Phenomenal scenes from Christian there. I know it was an awkward game 2, and no one likes to see it finish like that. But let's take you back to that game 1. Being in Christian's seat there, being against the wall,